These are not edible by humans. What's up, guys? How's it going? Ants. Lots of biting ants. That's one thing I noticed. As soon as the rain starts coming, for some reason there's ants everywhere. I'm not sure why. But do you see that big tree that I was just showing you guys just right now? Well, that tree, on that tree there are like 5 different iguanas that live there. And I just found out that I'm pretty sure the species of the iguana that lives there is the Black Spiny Tail Iguana. I'm pretty sure. And the reason they got the name Spiny Tail, well, their tail has spikes, but because the spikes on this particular iguana are larger than the spikes on other types of iguanas. So I guess, why not name it a spiny tail? Sometimes in the past, our dogs catch the, let's say, lizards that almost look like little dinosaurs. They're so cool. They actually look like dinosaurs. Our dogs, like Malaya right here, they try to catch the iguanas. So sometimes they'll come down from the tree to get the scraps from maybe like banana peels or papaya peels or really any fruit leftovers or vegetables, I guess. They come down, then our dogs go chasing after them to try to get them, but usually the iguanas are able to get away most of the time. I just learned that if an iguana is in temperature that is too low, their body freezes up and they can't move a muscle. So sometimes when iguanas are brought to countries that they normally wouldn't have lived at, sometimes they can get too cold and then they can fall out of the trees and other animals can get them. And I think that's a good reason why it's best to leave animals where they are supposed to be. So obviously you wouldn't take a polar bear and put them in the middle of the desert. The same way you wouldn't take a fish out of the ocean and put him up in a tree and expect him to climb. He's just not made to climb a tree, so he wouldn't be able to climb. So last year, once it started raining and pouring and there was this grass that started growing in my yard, it was like this really slippery grass. And what I could actually do is run and then slide on it, like if I was surfing or skateboarding, and slide on it like a slip and slide without shoes and without putting any type of water or soap or anything. And from all the years that the grass has started regrowing, that grass has never grown here before. And I'm really hoping that plant starts growing again this year because it was my most favorite grass by far. It was the coolest plant ever. It may have not even been grass. It was some type of vine, but it was just covering the entire length of the yard. It was really awesome. I really hope it starts growing this year because it was really fun. What I'm gonna have to start doing is trying to film more of my video early on in the day because the evenings from 2, 3 in the evening, it gets really cloudy and then starts raining and sometimes there's thunder and lightning, so not necessarily the best for filming. So I gotta try to film most of my videos early on in the day. That way there's somewhat of some sunlight, not just cloudiness. See, the clouds are already starting to roll in. After just one rain, this plant started growing. Oh, it's so nice. This little plant has began growing. Not sure what type of flower this is, but surely it looks nice. What on earth is this? Right here we've got some of those really nice sleepy plants. You can actually make tea out of these leaves. So you just take some of these nice little leaves and put them in some boiling water, and then you'll have yourself a tea. I think this is a ladybug. awesome idea. Could be the new little earrings. So these actually grow on the vines that are growing everywhere, and I just realized stuff looks so interesting if you look at it super closely. So I'm looking at just like little plants that normally I would just walk right past, but I'm looking at them really up closely and seeing all the little details, and everything looks like so much more interesting than if you just look at it from a distance. It's really cool. These are not edible by humans, I don't think. I've asked some people and they said you're not supposed to eat these, but I have seen the animals in my backyard eat these. So the lizards as well as the birds seem to like these. It's some type of fruit. It almost looks like, how would you describe this? It looks like it would make for some really nice decoration. Actually found one of the seeds that goes inside of one of those fruits. It's like a little red seed. It looks pretty poisonous to me, so definitely not gonna eat that. Now that would make for a great picture. Fantastic. That is absolutely awesome. It looks like we found a bird right there. He was kind of hiding in the grass, but it looks like we've got ourselves an ant nest. Alright, so you see this palm tree right here? Well, this palm tree actually has 2 wild edibles, believe it or not. The first wild edible part of the palm tree is these little nuts. So you can actually eat this once they like ripen a little bit and they turn yellow, then you're supposed to be able to eat it. I've seen a bunch of people do it. I tried it a while back, but this one looks like it might be semi-rotten, so I'm not gonna eat this one. And then the second wild edible is actually in the middle, or I guess the core of the actual palm tree. So the only way to get to this part, you have to kill the tree. So that's the only bad part. But when the palm tree falls over, or if they cut it down, right in the middle where all the palm leaves are, there is something called palmito. That's what they call it here, palmito. And it's edible. It's right in the middle, so you can't get it unless you want to kill the palm tree, but it is edible. They do actually sell a version of palmito at the supermarkets, but they get that palmito from a younger palm tree, so it's like these little like white, it almost looks like a string cheese. It looks like a piece of string cheese, but it's called palmito. It's kind of like the heart of a palm tree. And you can't take the heart out without killing the palm tree, which is the only bummer part. So one day when this thing falls over, we're gonna have a big, not sure how massive, ginormous it is, but have a nice big snack. So you remember earlier I was talking about the big tree with all the iguanas? Well, I see a really green iguana coming across the yard. Let's try to get a shot of him without scaring him, but he's one of the rather young ones because he's pretty small, maybe around this big, but this looks like the Black Spiny Tail Iguana species. Alright, here's the first shot, if you can kind of see him right there in the plants. Alright, we're a bit far away, but I'm going to try to get a little closer. Wow, he's really camouflaged. You see his little head poking out? I think the reason they come down here onto the ground is because they like to eat the leaves of the vines and the plants that grow on the ground. They must be really flavorful, so that's why they're coming down here. These little guys are absolute masters at camouflaging themselves, so they're really hard to spot. Well, yeah, he's right in those plants right there. Whoa, that's so cool. Oh, there he goes. Malaya! That is a nice piece of wood. Mmm, tasty. Malaya, you and I definitely have different taste buds, because I don't think wood tastes the best. Here, you want another piece of wood? my gosh, that's a nice cloud. Wow, this is definitely worthy of a time lapse. Here you go. You aren't gonna believe it. There is another iguana, lizard, dinosaur. Let's just call him a dinosaur. Dino. There's another dino right over there. So we're gonna try to sneak up on him. He's not as bright and green as the other one. Wow, I cannot believe how much we've gotten done today without the storminess showing up. The last few days, the clouds have just like rolled right in. Earlier today, the clouds started rolling in and then they ended up just like evaporating into thin air, like actual thin air, and then they just vanished. But now I'm starting to see them roll in. Interesting thing is the clouds always come in from that direction. They always come in from that corner or that exact direction. They never come in from anywhere over here. They always come in from over there. Maybe it's like something to do with the winds or who knows what. Anyways, today's positive quote is, be like a postage stamp. Stick to something till you get there. What this quote means to me is, if you are really going to dedicate yourself from getting from point A to point B or getting from where you are now to accomplishing something, like you have to stick with it. You can't be like, okay, I'll start this. Oh, I didn't get the best results right off the bat. I'll just quit that, move on. This didn't work right off the bat. I'll quit this, move on. I'll jump to this. Oh, it's not doing as good as I would like it to do right off the bat. I'll just move to this. Now, sometimes you start doing something and you're dedicating yourself and working really hard and you realize it's really not going to work, and then that would be a good time to move on. But a lot of the times when you quit doing something, it's not because it was gonna fail. It was just because maybe you weren't patient enough, you're impatient, and you wanted the best results like right off the bat. Like sometimes it takes a little bit of time. That's what that quote means to me. If you have any more positive quotes, leave them in the comments with Atua quotes. So hashtag Atua quotes and then leave your quote. That way I can find it and potentially use it in a future video. Remember to keep always doing awesome stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow early in the morning. Bang! If you want to see other recent videos, click here. And if you like my work and what I'm doing, please consider visiting my Patreon page. You can support me for as little as $1 and gain access to live streams, exclusive videos, and more. Click below or link in the description.